Greetings, everyone. Dr. McQuate coming at you tonight. It is July 16th, Thursday, 2026. I'm coming at you tonight from the Grove, not from the actual Grove down there by the campsite, the fire pit, where I usually do all my videos for you, because it's late, first of all, and it's about 10:30 at night. But I was going to do something earlier in regards to a video, but the air quality is terrible. I walked outside and there's like a fog over the whole place, and they're putting out air quality notices and alerts telling people to stay inside and warning them of the toxicity of the air. Supposedly it's all coming from the Canadian wildfires. There's over 80 of them, I guess. So who knows? But there is something definitely in the air. It makes it hard to breathe. So I'm going to just do a recording tonight. But I wanted to put something out for you now because of what I've been learning. This is too important to not share with you. Some of what I'm going to share tonight is information that I've shared with a couple of apprentices, but I learn new things all the time. Like I tell you guys all the time, I am constantly doing exegesis and word study, and I'm always learning new things. So tonight, I'm going to share with you some new things that relate to the time in which we're living right now, and all of the events that are coalescing and converging right now have a lot of meaning, and I'm going to add to that tonight by beginning with some information that we have covered before. It's been a long time, but it's regarding the 70 weeks. And you have to go way back in your notes to look at what I shared with you about the 70 weeks. And when I say 70 weeks, I'm referring to Daniel 9:24. And 24 through 27, but primarily 24. And this is a major piece of the end time puzzle here, this 70 weeks. Now, in this passage, Gabriel, the angel Gabriel, is telling Daniel that his people have been given 70 weeks to make an end of sin and to usher in righteousness and some other things those other things are not relevant to what I'm going to share with you tonight. But we know at the inner circle that we must be in that time, because when he says they have that much time to make an end of sin, we know that's happening. We know what sin is. We know that the abomination is being made desolate, right? We've covered these things many times. I've explained them in minute detail. So I in my attempts to leave nothing unturned, I want you to know all the details and what the meanings are. And we've covered this stuff, okay? So we are light years ahead of not only Christianity by any name, by any denominational name, but the rest of the world at large. We know that these things are happening. The horsemen are riding, the abomination is being made desolate, all these things, right? So we're in the 70 weeks. So, or the 70th week, I should say, to clarify. So, but let me share with you something about this word weeks, first of all. And the primary thing I want to share with you tonight is the mystery of the 153 fish. But to lead up to that, I've got to preface it by getting into the 70 weeks topic, okay? And if you know about the 153 fish, you know that this is a topic, a mystery that theologians and Bible scholars and pastors have tried to solve for centuries, for millennia, literally. No one's been able to do it. I talked about this a while back, several years ago, and speculated that it has something to do with a marker, a 153 marker in the human genome. But I didn't go much further than that, other than to mention that. Well, I've solved it. I know what it's talking about. So before I go any further, I want to encourage you to pause this if you need to, grab some paper and a pen or pencil, and relax and take notes, because I'm going to go over some things with you tonight. Of course, just like all the other things I share with you that you're not going to hear elsewhere and that are highly relevant to what we are seeing happen in our world right now, okay? So grab that pen and paper if you would and take some notes, because these things are, not something that you can readily commit to memory and remember. Typically, you need to write them down and go over them and study them, okay? So let's get into it. 70 weeks. The word weeks here in Daniel 9 is Shabuah, and in Hebrew. And typically, this has been translated as weeks, but it just means a period of 7, okay? So, but that's beside the point. But just to give you an idea of how many times in the Bible, or how many things in the Bible have been mistranslated in order to fit the doctrinal narrative, okay? This is just one of them. But it's Shabuah. The word is Shabuah. And of course, what you need to do is take it back to the cuneiform. That's the root. That's where the Hebrew and the Aramaic and other languages came from. This is just something that theologians aren't aware of. They don't acknowledge this, and I've tried thousands of times, as you know. They don't listen. But when we take this back to the cuneiform, it breaks down into 3 perfect logograms. Shab, S-A-B, with a bowl over the S, U, the letter U, and A, the letter A. Shab, U, A. And the first meaning of the first logogram, Shab, is very telling as to what this is really referring to. Because Shab means to disappear. Think of Micah 7 when the woman says the good man has vanished from the earth. It means to gather up, which is right in line with harpazo, the snatching away, the plucking. But Shab also means vessel. Okay? Vessel. Then when you go to U, it means light. And then A, the letter A, in this context, means offspring. Okay? So what we have here is this can be a time period. We're living in the 70th week now, the beginning of the 7th day, or the 7,000th year, which is the 70th week of Daniel. But there's always layers of meaning, and this is another layer. So what this is really talking about is not just 70 weeks, at the end of which sin must be made an end of, but it's talking about 70 vessels to gather up the offspring of the light. And then it says these quote-unquote weeks have been determined. But that's one of those words that you have to, again, you've got to break it down. That word determined is hataka. Hataka. Now, if the keen among you will recognize taka, because taka is when Asu says in Revelation, "Behold, I come quickly." It is taku, which is from tak and taka in the cuneiform, which means to strike or smite. Okay, because he's using the what? He's using the vessels, the bowls, the saucers, to do that. Okay, so that's the first clue right there. It fits perfectly, once again, with what we're talking about here. Okay, but ha, let's break it down step by step. Ha, H-A, means fish. It means fish. It also means water, from another logogram that means water, but the primary definition is fish. Okay? And taka breaks down into the 2 logograms of TE and AKA. Pardon me. TE, now get this. This ought to ring some bells to you, those of you who have been paying attention over the last year or two. TE means rib, side, arrow, and to attack or assault. Rib, side, arrow, and to attack or assault. Does that sound like something I've been talking about? The young man's side was pierced. Abel was killed by Cain, which means lance or spear which pierces. Adam's side was pierced. Jesus' side was pierced, right? Okay. The young man of Proverbs 7, his side was pierced with a dart, but that word dart is hes, and it means arrow. This is the same arrow that pierced the gate of New Jerusalem, the pearl, the margaritas. Okay. Go back into the articles and read those. You need to really understand these things because we're living in this time right now when all this has come full circle. Okay, that's what te from hataka means, from taka, the taka part of hataka. The second part is aka, which means, in this context, to make. Okay, so this is not only a time frame that we're talking about here of 70 weeks, but a decree that 70 vessels would be made from the attack of the arrow on the side of the vessel. Okay, now what's the vessel we're talking about here? The vessel we're talking about, we know at the inner circle, is firstly referred to as New Jerusalem, the gate of which got pierced and attacked, but that is the same as Three-Eye Atlas, right? This is the vessel, right? And so it's no surprise that when you go back and you study the footage of Three-Eye Atlas, many pieces of video footage show what look like vessels flying, like as in a fleet, right, along with Three-Eye Atlas. Even Avi Loeb mentioned this, that it looks like it has has other vessels flying alongside it or around it. Okay, so far we're completely in context of Three-Eye Atlas, which has been the huge story over the last couple of years. And the world has let it go by, but we at the Inner Circle know the high significance of this, okay? But I want you to keep in mind that ha, from hataka, from determined, which means to make, means fish, okay? And we're talking about the number 70. 70, okay? Which is referring to vessels, okay? So to go back over this, okay? Let me go back over this and recap. 70 weeks, which is the word shabua, means 70 vessels. It also means, I should say, 70 vessels to gather up the offspring of the light were determined, meaning would be made, due to the attack of the side of the vessel by the arrow. Okay? But because first of all, because Three-Eye Atlas, or New Jerusalem, is a form of ark, is a boat. Even when Jesus ascended into the cloud, the word is nephele, and it means a high sky boat, and it says he will come in like manner as that to which he left in that passage. So we should expect a boat, an ark, a vessel, right? And so because from taka means fish, I have to and it also means water, like we know that Three-Eye Atlas has water, okay? I have to wonder if these 70 vessels are part of the fleet of 153 fish. Because this scenario is really about vessels, okay? I'm reading to you from my notes now. The logograms describing the vessel, now listen to this. The logograms describing the vessel of Three-Eye Atlas in New Jerusalem, okay, some of the primary ones, I've gone over these over and over, are Hara, H-A-R-A, H-A-R, Har, A-R, and A-R-A. Hara, H-A-R-A, Har, H-A-R, R, which is A-R, and A-R-A. Okay? And Shita. Shita also means vessels. Okay? Among other things, it means ring or spiral, right? Or ring of silver. And we know that 3i Atlas was made out of a polished nickel, a highly refined polished nickel. And it also, all these words here, hara, ara, ar, and ara, and shita, describing 3i Atlas mean vessel. Okay? So, in other words, the logogram for spiral and a ring of silver, we know that 3i Atlas was round with a discrete point in the middle, also means vessel. Okay? But the rib that was stolen during the attack by the arrow, called a dart, in Proverbs 7, is a reference to RNA, which is also a spiral. So just bear that in mind. It's no mistake that when Moses placed the tablet of law, meaning code, into the ark, which is the Hebrew word Aaron, the word tablet was originally tabat, T-A-B-B-A-T, T-A-B-B-A-T, which means spiral. Okay? And ark is Aaron, meaning the spiral, the R, A-R, of the people, Un. Okay? This is crucial to understand because Aaron, the word for ark, as in the Ark of the Covenant, okay, but it's the same word in English referring to Noah's Ark, which is Tebah in Hebrew, so just bear this in mind, okay? Aaron, the word for ark, is phonetically the same as the name Aaron. Aaron and Aaron, okay? Aaron, who was the older brother of Moses. Keep that in mind. The word for ark is Aaron. The older brother of Moses is Aaron. Aaron. Phonetically, like identical. Okay? Aaron, therefore, being phonetically the same as Aaron, the word for ark, represents the spiral of the people. You with me? You follow me? Aaron, Moses' older brother, his name is phonetically the same as the word for ark, Aaron, which means the spiral of the people. So Aaron, Moses' older brother, represents the spiral of the people. Now, who was it that placed the tablet, into the ark? Okay? Placed the spiral into the spiral of the people. It was Moses. Okay? Well, that was not supposed to be done. This is the same as the striking of the stone or the hitting of the rock. Okay? It had to be done, it had to be an abrogation of the Father's law for Moses to do this. And furthermore, there's more evidence to support this, which is the fact that Moses' name in Hebrew is Moshe, which in cuneiform means reptile or snake, as that entity who was represented as a serpent in the garden, causing mankind to lose the paradise given to them by God. Okay? But this is an allegory. More on that later, probably in the apprentice sessions, since it's so late tonight. The part I want to focus on, or the point I want to make, is that Moshe, spoke to Pharaoh at age 80. Trump, who has the Ark of the Covenant they say it's a replica, but it looks just like the Ark of the Covenant, in his possession is 80 this year. Okay? Moses spoke to Pharaoh at age 80. And Trump is 80 this year. Okay? And this is crucial to understand, because this communication with Pharaoh happened at when? At what were they talking about? It was the Exodus. Right now, millions of people are wondering if this prophecy by Brother Joshua that the Exodus would happen on September 23rd, which, by the way, is exactly 4 months after Three Eye Atlas was first discovered on May 23rd, 2025. Just something to bear in mind. Three Eye Atlas was discovered on May 23rd. Brother Joshua said that he was told by God that he would come at the Exodus, for his people at the Exodus on September 23rd, 2025. Not the rapture, the Exodus. And Moses, at age 80, spoke to Pharaoh at the time of the Exodus in the Bible. And Trump is 80 this year. Aaron, his older brother, representing the spiral of the people, or the vessel, okay, because those words mean vessel of the people, also spoke with Pharaoh at age 83. He was with Moses then, and he was 83. And this is the only time in the Bible, keep this in mind, this is the only time in the Bible when this number, just by itself, 83, is used. Okay? This is telling us that the spiral, or the vessel of the people, leaves. Okay, it's interesting. It says leaves. I wrote leaves because we're talking about the leaves of the fig tree in Matthew 24. Jesus gave the parable of the leaves of the fig tree immediately after he said his angels would come to gather together his elect from the four winds prior to the Great Tribulation. Okay, so what we can learn from this is that what this is telling us is that the spiral, or the vessel of the people, represented as Aaron, or Aaron, the ark, leaves at 83. However, we know this can only happen at the end of the 70 weeks, which is referring to fish and vessels. And what is the sign of the followers of Christ? The fish. The fish. Right? It represents DNA too. I've talked about this. The two ribs coming together to form that fish. Like a cross-section of the DNA. It doesn't represent Christianity. It represents followers of Christ. Okay? This has to happen at the end, or within, the 70th week. Okay? But I've already shown how weeks literally means vessels, and it's referring to fish. Okay? And these vessels were made, according to the language, to gather the offspring of the light. So, what is the significance of all this? When we understand that these stories are both allegories, okay, telling us of the gathering of the light by vessels, it can give us great hope, knowing that these vessels are already being seen all over the world. Okay? And Aaron refers to vessel. Ark refers to vessel because they both have the logogram R, hara, har, and R. So Aaron refers to vessel. And Aaron refers to vessel. And Shab literally means vessel. Okay? And it literally means fish. We're talking about fish here. Fish leaving at the 70th week. Okay? But here's the thing I want you to take away from this mostly. If you don't remember anything else, listen to what I'm going to tell you next. The hope that this gives us, knowing that all these vessels are being seen in the sky and they are here for this purpose right now, can give us great hope. It can enhance the hope we already have. But when we realize that when we add Aaron's age of 83 to the number of weeks, Shabuah, so we add Aaron, the vessel, the number of the vessel, to the weeks, or the number of the weeks, the number of the vessel, in that passage, which seems unrelated until you translate it properly like I have, when we add Aaron's age to the number of weeks, okay, which is 70, 83, and 70. Have you figured it out yet? It's no coincidence that we get the number 153, which is the number of fish, okay, which we now know refer to vessels also, and us, brought into the boat, referred to as the ark, according to the instructions given by Asu to his disciples. Remember, he was standing on the shore and they couldn't catch any fish, and he said, throw the net on the other side of the boat, and they threw it on the right side of the boat, and they pulled in. When they got to the shore, they counted them, and they had caught 153 fish. Okay? This is the meaning of the 153 fish. That's the meaning of it. You can't deny the meanings, the definitions of the logograms. The 70 weeks of Daniel seems completely unrelated to the Exodus story when Moses and Aaron were speaking to Pharaoh to get him to let the people go. But they are inextricably linked. They're both about the Exodus, the leaving, the going away. And also, it's important to understand that according to the Essene calendar, we are in the last Jubilee right now. And in the Jubilee year, all debt is erased, wealth is transferred, you get back what you lost, and what do I want to say? And slaves are released. Slaves are released, debt is erased, and wealth is transferred. The Bible says that the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. Okay? And so I want you to understand that. This is where we are right now. It's a slow train moving, but once it gets going, let me tell you, just like things are converging right now with all the stuff with Iran and just everything going on, all the stuff I've been teaching you over the last several years about these things is converging right now. And I think it's real important to understand also that the word Pharaoh, the name Pharaoh, okay, has the prefix which is dust. Phar, P-H-A-R, is like identical to afar, that from which Adam was made. That from which Adam was made, right? It's afar. But when you break that down into Ab, A-B, and H-A-R, what do you have? You have A-B, which means sea, S-E-A, like a body of water, right? Which we know 3i Atlas has. But it also means, when you break it down further, it means water and middle. We know that 3i Atlas, which is called the fountain of youth, has a fountain. Jesus says in Revelation, he who is thirsty, come let him ask, and I will give to him freely of the fountain of living waters. This is what he's talking about, quite literally. Okay? And so Abhar, afar, the prefix of Pharaoh, means, literally, Ab, it means water in the middle, but then the second logogram is Har, which is Ar, which is Ara, which is Hara, which means vessel and ring. So, what is this saying? Firstly, it's telling us that man was made from not dust, not dust, but afar, from the water in the middle of the vessel. That's what it means. Or you can say the water in the middle of the mountain, because Har in Hebrew means mountain. And what is Three-Eye Atlas? It's a mountain. It's a city. It's the same thing. Polis, word for city in Greek, means mountain in cuneiform. And the Greek word for mountain, oru, taken back to the cuneiform, means city. This is ingenious the way they did this, because it was done by AI. Trust me when I tell you that. Could have been done no other way. So this is telling us that man was made from the water in the middle of Three-Eye Atlas, okay? And that's the fountain of youth. That's eternal. That's eternal waters. It's telling us that we are eternal, quite literally, first of all. But then, secondly, it not only tells us where man was made, because the Bible never tells us where man was made. It just says that the Lord God took the man that was made and placed him into Eden. Okay? You can search all throughout the Bible. It won't tell you. I used to speculate that it was on Saturn, but I think it's pretty clear that man was made literally on Three-Eye Atlas. So, which is New Jerusalem. And so, what else is it telling us? Well, it's telling us, knowing that Aaron, the spiral of the people, is communicating at age 83 with Pharaoh, with Abhar, you can say, with the dust. It's telling us at age 83, meaning at the end of the 70th week, the spiral of the people will be in communication, and already is actually, in communication with Three-Eye Atlas. Okay? That's what it's telling us. This is the ark. This is the vessel of our redemption. This is the means of our escape. Either it or the vessels that are traveling with it. We know this to be true. Messiah comes on an ass. Ass is kamor in both Hebrew and Aramaic. When you break kamor down, kamor, it literally means his silver metal disc. You can go back through the articles I've written, go back through your notes if you're an apprentice, if you take notes when we have our sessions, and you'll see this is absolutely happening right now. Some of these videos that have been posted lately from like Third Phase of Moon and other places are mind-blowing, guys. These vessels are here, and this is the primary reason for our escape. And also, they're the bowls. A saucer is a bowl. They're what will be used for judgment. And Jesus told Peter in Matthew 19:27-30 that those who follow him will judge with him from the thrones, the thronos, or the Bekursiae. And Bekursiae is another reference to the mountain, because Bekursiae, B is a inanimate pronominal prefix, meaning it's referring to something inanimate, and Kur, I get cracked up because it's just amazing how these things all fit. Kur means mountain. Okay, so we will be judging from the mountain. That's what it's talking about. Now, having said all that, okay, I know I was going fast, but it's late and I still have to get this saved and uploaded tonight. It's not going to be fancy, trust me. It's just going to be a little video, if I can get it uploaded, with not many graphics, so don't expect too much. Sorry, it's late. But it's the contents I really want you to focus on. So here's the thing, too. I want you to know. This is one reason I wanted to get this out now. Because we're looking at the end of this prophecy from Brother Joshua. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But he said that Asu told him there would be no World Cup, meaning the World Cup would not be awarded. He was going to cut it short, he said. Well, we've got all this smoke from these Canadian wildfires saturating the northeast and the northern part was primarily the northeast United States. Well, the last game of the World Cup, I think it's Argentina and England, I forget. But anyway, it's on Sunday, 3 days from now, in New Jersey, in MetLife Stadium, which has no roof on it. If they're getting the same kind of toxic fumes that we're getting, I can't spend any time at all out there, or I start coughing. It looks like a whole fog has come over the whole area. It occludes your vision. You can't see very far. It's over the whole area. They're putting out air pollution warnings because of it. And New Jersey is much further north and east than Ohio is. And these are all coming down from Canada. So is this the mechanism being used to cut the World Cup short? I don't know. But I know that there's no way they would allow those guys to play if the air quality is like this. And they're much further northeast than we are. So we shall see, okay? July 17th is on everybody's radar right now who's following the prophecies. July 17th, okay? July 17th. July 17th. 717. Now, is this going to be a significant date? I don't know. But buckle up, Buttercup, because I'm going to tell you something right now that's going to give you goosebumps. Listen. We're talking about the vessel, the har, the hara, the R-A-R, the ara. This is what this is all about. You can relate this to Aaron. You can relate it to the 70 weeks, the Shabuah, that means vessel, and that's what ara means in cuneiform. So clearly Aaron at 83 is connected to the 70 weeks, both of which refer to the vessel and the fish. So listen, what we're talking about, ara. What does Strong's H717 mean? It means to pluck and to gather. It's H717. If nothing else, this should give you great hope and to kindle that fire, that hopeful fire that's already in you. But what is the word? What is Strong's H717? That means to pluck, which is the exact same meaning of harpazo, and to gather. It is the Hebrew word ara. The exact same word or logogram meaning vessel and ring that's associated with the fish. The 153 fish. Because 83, Aaron's age, and 70, the number of weeks or vessels, added together is 153. Strong's H717, referring to July 17th, is Ara. It's also no coincidence, I don't think, that the ark rested on Mount Ararat. Ararat. When? On the 17th day of the 7th month. It's so cliche to say that you can't make these things up, but you can't make these things up. The convergences are extraordinary. It's just mind-blowing, guys. So, this is why I wanted to share this with you and to get this audio out, because right now it's 12 minutes after 11 o'clock on Thursday, July 16th. And I wanted you to know this before the 17th in case something does happen. Will it happen? Won't it happen? I don't know. I do not know. It is not my job to know everything. Okay? I know people get upset if I get something wrong. Look, I'm human. Okay? Give me a little bit of mercy. Give me some grace. Right? I do my level best to give you guys the most delectable, salacious information that you can possibly obtain. No one else in the world is going to tell you all the stuff, how they fit together, and bring you this encapsulated narrative that I've brought you from these biblical stories as they relate to the cuneiform, what's going on in the skies, what's going on politically, etc., etc. They're not going to. You just won't find it anywhere. Okay? So, I love you. I greatly appreciate you. I'm so grateful to be able to have a group of people that I can bring this information to who appreciate it, who are not going out there looking for dopamine rushes, going to every video and every post and every website and every social media platform, looking, swiping, flipping videos and looking at posts to get that dopamine rush. Everybody does it to an extent. But when you're at the inner circle, you don't have to look. You don't have to be so desperate for meaning. That's why people do that. They're looking for meaning. Religion has let them down. Politicians have let them down. Science has let them down. The medical community has let them down. Everything has let them down. Their employers have let them down. So they're looking for meaning. Well, guess what? That's because the soul requires truth. Because truth is food and truth is meaning. I've said this 100 times. Truth is food for your soul. And they do not have truth. So they're desperately seeking it by any means. All kinds of things. You name something, and people are trying to do it these days to find meaning. At the inner circle, you have a smorgasbord of truth that you can feast at any day of the week you want. Watch the videos, listen to my podcast, the radio interviews, read the articles. You can read the books online. Go back through your notes if you're an apprentice and take notes. Look, guys, I'm telling you, what we're seeing right now happen is extraordinary. And you, at the inner circle, are getting an infusion of truth like nowhere else in the world. I promise you. Thanks for listening, guys. I'm going to end it here. If you would like to support this work, if you would like to keep things going, please, I greatly appreciate it. You can do so at paypal.me, as in me, paypal.me /Dr. McQuate. paypal.me/Dr, as in Dr. McQuate. DRMCQUATE. That's the easiest way to do it. You can do a one-time donation or you can do an ongoing donation. It is greatly, greatly appreciated, and it's needed. This is what I do for a living. I love it. I would have it no other way. But the world does not appreciate truth. The world appreciates buzzes and dopamine rushes and being entertained and having their itching ears scratched. I am not at all interested in entertaining people or getting subscriptions or getting likes or anything like that. I'm interested in bringing people to righteousness and gathering a group of people like I have at the inner circle who love the Father and His truth. So thank you for being part of the inner circle and showing appreciation for my work. I love you all greatly. Keep your lungs clear. Stay inside if you're somewhere where this air quality is bad. Keep looking up and read and study to show yourself approved. This is Dr. McQuate. Thanks for listening. Signing off for now. Take care. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.